Okay, once you get logged into your computer for the first time using your network password, you may be prompted to configure your Lenovo pen settings. I usually just push that blue dismiss button. You can, if you would like, actually tell the system what to do. If you've looked really closely, there's these two small, these are called your barrel buttons. You have a top barrel and a bottom barrel on the pen. There are these actually two small buttons that you can press, and you can tell the system what to do when you press that. So you could say, I want my top button to copy, or I want it to paste or undo, or anything like that. So you can configure that if you'd like. I just choose not to, partly because the functionality, if I'm being honest, isn't that robust. So you actually have to get your stylus really close. I've got my little mouse cursor here, but you've got to get your stylus close enough to the screen where that mouse cursor turns into a tiny little like dot slash like crosshair. So in order to make my top barrel button work, in this case to make it copy something, I have to get the pen so close to the screen that my mouse cursor turns into those crosshairs, and that's just sort of, that's not very user friendly to me. So I usually dismiss it. The pen works right out of the box. There's nothing you need to do to initiate that or anything. So I usually push dismiss. But what I do recommend though is next to this clock down here, there's a little pen with a squiggle line icon. So if you push that icon, there's actually two applications inside of there. So the first one is what's called the Whiteboard. So if that is not already installed on your system, you will definitely want to push that down arrow to install it. It's an application that has been approved already by IT, so there's no admin login credentials you need to enter or anything, but you do want to make sure that that Whiteboard is installed, and it'll only take 20 seconds or so. Okay, now that it's installed, you can see that down arrow turned into the Whiteboard icon. So I'm going to click that to open it up, and we have our Whiteboard. So I'm going to accept the policies. If this is the first time you're opening this, you'll get a few, you'll get a prompt to kind of take their tour. You can just say get started. It will ask you to sign in. So this is actually connected to our Microsoft accounts. So students do not have Microsoft accounts, but Hemet teachers do. So you will want to select work or school account, push continue, and your username here for the sign in is your full Hemet email address. So make sure that you include the hemetusd.org. It's not just that first part. So in this case, it's droute@hemetusd.org. And then the password is whatever your computer login password is. So this isn't your Gmail, Google password. This is actually what you use to log into the computer. You can say, yes, allow my organization to manage this device. And this will actually, just like Google products, this will save automatically. So your whiteboards that you create, they'll be saved and you can actually access them online or from another device, and it'll just kind of stay synced without you having to push save or anything like that. It'll happen automatically, which is really nice. So it's just setting up the whiteboard space, and I am all set. I'm going to click that blue done. It's signing me in. And you can see by my little initials here that I'm actually signed into my Microsoft account. So I'm going to click that large square to expand or to maximize my window here. And the first thing I'm going to show is actually what's called your My Whiteboards. So this back arrow, right now I was just taken into an actual whiteboard, obviously, but if I click that back arrow, I can create multiple whiteboards if I'd like. So that blue button will create as many as you want. As I mentioned before, they will save automatically. So you could have one for each period, you could have one for each day of the week, whatever really makes sense for your organization, you can set it up that way. Each whiteboard, so right now you can see I have 3 created from previous demonstrations. So each of these whiteboards has a little ellipsis menu, those 3 dots. If you click there, you can invite participants. So this is a collaborative sort of canvas, but again, it's only for teachers. So maybe you could see using this in a PLC meeting with other educators, but right now students in Hemet don't have access to Microsoft products yet, so you could only invite other teachers. You could export it, so this would be really good if you were wanting to export it as an image to maybe send in a weekly email home to parents, or to add to your Google Classroom or within a Google document or Google slide, or you can delete the whiteboard. So since I'm done with those, I'm gonna actually delete these 2 whiteboards. I don't need these anymore. Or you can rename the whiteboard. So if you click on those 3 dots, it's not the most intuitive, but that little pencil, if you click where it says Untitled, you can actually rename this. So maybe this is Math Period 3 or something. It can be really whatever you'd like. So I'm going to rename this whiteboard and just double click back in there and we'll get started.